And that leads us to the present. To the death on the street this week of a mom, a dog owner, a wife, a friend, a legal observer, Renee Good. I love that her last name is Good. By another human being, by ICE agent, whom I don't know much about. Could be a dad, could be a friend, could be a neighbor, could be a dog owner. Jonathan Ross. Two human beings who meet on the street with horrible consequences. We don't know how to hold it, but we do know it's not right. We do know it's not fair. And so lots of people this week have risen up. It's not the first time in South Minneapolis that people have been out on the street. I have to tell you, and so many of you have been so kind this morning. I heard somebody say, I'm surprised to see you here. I thought you'd be in Minneapolis. You know, I lived there for 26 years, and my home was in South Minneapolis, about 4 miles from where this happened. And it was hard this week to be away. I scanned those photos on Facebook. I looked closely, and I saw the faces of people I know who were out in the streets. They're out in the streets witnessing and protesting and blowing their whistles and observing. And they're also doing real mutual aid. They're collecting money and food for people. They're giving rides to people who are afraid to go out. They're picking up kids from school when parents are afraid to go. They're being on signal chats with each other, finding out what's needed and where. They are truly, truly community, and they didn't have to build it from scratch on, what day was it, Wednesday? They didn't have to build it from scratch on day one. They had already been doing that. This is the same neighborhood where George Floyd was killed. It's the same city where Jamar Clark died and near where Philando Castile died. And all of these things that had happened, and people were already ready to be with each other on the street. They already knew that they were inextricably linked. I put this on my newsletter article, and I'll say it again. Ashley Horan, who's the Unitarian Universalist Association Vice President for Ministries and Programs. We love those big, big names. Ashley lives just a block from where Renee Good was killed. And Ashley is just all right. She is salt of the earth. And so she was reporting, she was doing a live comment about what was going on. And if you're not following Ashley Horan on Facebook, she's a really great person to follow. And she said, as a Unitarian Universalist, I know 2 things in my bones. That every human being has worth and dignity. That each of us is precious. Now, one of the things that means for me is I don't want Jonathan Ross to be shot in the street any more than I want Renee Good to be. I don't have to know him or like him to believe that he has worth and dignity. And I'm telling you, that is a hard place for me not to let hatred in. That's the resistance for me right now, is to not let hatred in, because I'm telling you, it wants to get in the door of my heart. To believe as a matter of faith that every human being has worth and dignity, even if they have lost their humanity, even if they lie, they still have worth and dignity. That is what this faith teaches me. And the second thing I know in my bones, Ashley says, I too, is that we are inextricably interdependent. Our lives depend on each other. We are connected in all of these ways, not just with the people that we love and like, but each and every one of us on this planet. each and every one of us. And so we can't extract, we can't pull apart how we are interdependent. If those two things are true, that everyone has worth and dignity, and we are all connected, then we have to care about each other. We have to care about each other. Now, I've been thinking a lot about the young ones who are with us in our service. I've been thinking about the young ones who are with us in the service, and I thought, what is it that you can say if someone at school or in your scout troop or your swim team or soccer or Lego group or whatever else it is that you do, if someone says what they may have heard from someone else, well, she deserved it, or yes, in your workplace, or wherever else you are, she deserved it, she shouldn't have been doing that. I can say, without having to argue with what I saw with my own eyes on the video, I don't have to say our government is lying, even though they're... I can say, because of my faith, I believe that everyone has worth and dignity, and that we are all interconnected, and so we have to care about each other. That's hard to argue with. Someone could argue with me, but I think for me that's the takeaway, and that's what I'm holding, to not let hatred in and not have to argue with both the people who have lost their humanity. I don't have to argue with the people who have lost their humanity. I can pray for them. I can hope for them. I can show a better way. I can be one act of resistance and say that because of my faith, I believe that every human being has worth and dignity, and that we are all interconnected, and so we have to care about each other. It's a simple equation. Our government is not telling us the truth, but you know what? It's just not the first time. It's not even the first time recently. It's not even the first time recently. On January 6th, we saw it with our own eyes, and they told us we didn't see what we saw. Right? Well, just because you repeat a lie often enough does not make it true. But it's lonely to just say, well, that's not true. Well, that's not true. It's more hopeful to me to speak it out of my faith